Hello, and welcome to Rory's Brainworks, where we get creative and see if it works. Today, we'll be working with an ankle weave tutorial. It is the precursor to some of the foot weave and foot rope bondage tutorials I will be doing later. Now, since Marie does not have any feet of her own, I will be showing you this tutorial on myself. With that said, I am wearing shorts in the middle of winter, and my feet are already very cold. Now, before we get into the tutorial, we must first talk about safe, sane, and consensual safety. Be sure to have some safety shears with you at all times. You can always get a new rope, can't get a new life. And consensual, me, Marie, and Crochet Rory are all consenting adults. Communication is key. Now, before we deep dive into this ankle weave tutorial, we must first thank my sponsors, Knothead Nylon.
Knothead Nylon is the destination for all your premium nylon rope bondage needs. Easy to clean, water resistant, up to 1,100 pounds of weight load, and in a wide array of beautiful, vibrant colors, Knothead Nylon will slake your rope desires. At checkout, put in discount code RORY10 for 10% off.
I had a great comment recently from Jake Walker talking about how they were happy. I was talking about safe, sane, and consensual, utilizing safety shears. You can always get a new rope, can't get a new life. However, they were curious about the application. Well, how do you actually use it? I will admit, it is a little bit easier and less stressful to know a little bit beforehand than finding yourself in that dire situation going, oh God, what should I be doing actually? So let's rectify that, shall we? So, bondage shears, or medical shears, in the field commonly known as trauma shears. When you need to cut off belts, seat belts, pants, that sort of thing, you're going to need trauma shears for that. That's what all paramedics use. As you can see right here, we have this little lip, and that is where we're going to be pushing in against the skin. It makes it so there's no sharp edges like this one over here to poke and perforate. You don't want to cut off the ropes and also, bleed them out at the same time. It's not the best consolation prize. So we want to maneuver this part underneath the ropes and then begin cutting from there on out. Let's look at that. One of the best things to do is to quickly identify where on the body is causing the initial trauma that needs the rope to be cut. Once you've identified that area, it's best to also identify where the ropes are loosest at that point. Now, likely, if they need to be cut, there is no loose point. Something has gone wrong. But if there is, it's always good to try and find a place where it's slightly more loose and off the skin than other places. You don't want to be cutting right here because you definitely have a higher chance of cutting the skin with the trauma shears. So try and identify an area that's a little bit more loose. Once there, try and have your finger be a little bit above it. You want to try and push the ropes from off of the skin, and then use the guiding lip to be the one that goes underneath it. And you always want to be cutting at the base of the trauma shears. You have the most leverage that way. It'll cut the best. And at that point in time, get from the bottom, slow, methodical cuts. Safety. Now, the reason that you want to do slow and small cuts is that's the best for the leverage. You can't get all the ropes in there and just gotta squeeze it shut. It's not gonna work that way. I hope that helps you out, Jake, and anyone else who is curious about how to utilize the trauma shears. Now let's get to this ankle weave tutorial. All right, so I have a 30-foot rope right here, and you can use less, much less, down to 20 and 10 feet, varying on how much of your ankle you want encompassed with the rope. It all depends on your preference. I'm gonna use the 30 foot because I like filling up my foot. Get the bite of my rope, very important, as always. And the fun thing about this tie is that it really brings out that deep pressure stimulation. For me, it feels like an ankle brace. So let's go down and play around. All right, let's see if I can make this work. So I'm gonna grab the bite of my rope, I'm gonna reach into it, I'm gonna twist around and grab the stem and pull that out. I'm then going to take that hole and put my foot through it. We have just created a girth hitch. I'm gonna wrap it around to go the other way. Now you want this to be on the pad of the foot, just below the toesies. The pad and arch of the foot can withstand a lot of pressure. I'm not saying do this overly tight. However, it could comfortably withstand some tightness. Now normally, since this is a cinching hitch, I would block it off before beginning a weave. That way it doesn't continually cinch, but about twice around with the weave and it is no longer cinching. So have a place where it's comfortable, hold it up and move your foot around
Once that feels pretty comfortable, like wearing a little bit of a tight shoe, rock climbing shoe, or a runner's shoe, that's where you want to look for. Now once we have that desired tightness, we're going to go the opposite direction to create that cross tension in the girth hitch. And we're going to wrap around just above the ankles on either side. And once we've wrapped around, we're going to go down to the arch and create a line around that arch right there. Perfect. No need to tighten that up too much. The weave should tighten it just fine enough. Once you've gone around, well, we're going to go around the ankle. Again, just above the one we had just done. And then we're going to go down, back towards the arch, and go beneath the one we had just created. Making sure to keep your rope straight, tighten it as you see fit. Like I said, you don't need it too tight. Then we're going to go back up towards the ankle, wrap around. See, when we're wrapping around, we're not wrapping down. We don't want to go below the ankle. We always want to stay above it. So we're moving from the toes to the heel and from the ankles above. All right, so let's keep going. Back down from going around the ankles. We will go around the arch, making sure that it is staying nice and even, and continue going around. We're essentially creating a Greek or Egyptian sandal for the most part. And it's not a cross weave that you would imagine. It's more of a fan weave. So keep on doing that pattern. Beneath and around the arch, keeping the rope straight. Go towards the ankle and around. Down towards the arch of the foot. Now eventually you will run out of arch and you will start running into the heel, and that's probably when you should end up stopping. Now I've just gone through the arch again. I'm just in front of the heel. I'm going to wrap around the ankle. I have about, let's say 2.5, 3 feet left on my rope. And so I'm going to wrap around about twice. I'm going to keep a finger underneath there so I make sure I'm not going too tight before we tie it off in the back. Tying it off in the back doesn't disrupt the flow, what's going around with the front. So let's get to tying around that back. Now, since it is difficult to find a correct angle with the camera to show you how to tie this off in the back, I'm going to tie it off in the side, and then I'll retie it in the back and then show you afterwards. So I wrapped it around 2 times. I have my finger right here to make sure that it's staying at a comfortable space away, so I'm not going to restrict blood flow down to my foot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it once with the excess rope, and then bring that up. Now you notice that I am still holding the spot with my finger. That's because I'm going to cross over, go underneath again, and come back up, this time on the opposite side. On the opposite side of where I originally came from. So, once I wrapped around twice, I came around this way, I went over, underneath, crossed over, underneath, and now I'm going to lift over. I'm going to lift up this last crossover. I'm going to get that rope through, and I'm going to tighten that. That is essentially creating a larger, more ornate clove hitch to close that out. That is a non-cinching hitch that does not single out any one given strand on here. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie that on the back. And this is how that front looks. How delicate, how beautiful. It is a really nice tie, and it does feel like an ankle brace. Now the fun thing about this is that I've kept one on for about 5 hours or so, and I didn't take it off because it was uncomfortable. I took it off because I had to put on shoes and go and walk elsewhere. But I've walked around the house with it on, and it is very comfortable. The only thing that will happen is that after a while this girth hitch does have a tendency to start pulling back this way, in which case it will begin to loosen up some of these fibers. You just take that and you just push it back over here. It's not meant to be walked in, obviously. It is just very comfortable and looks awesome. Now you can't leave the back long because then you can tantalize your cats with it and they can chase you around. Another additional nicety is the ease of taking it off. It's just so simple and easy and it's relaxing in a way. Let that foot breathe again. Happy foot. Rope kisses. Well, hey! I hope you had as much fun learning from that tutorial as we did teaching it to you. Well, Marie decided she was going to go down to the mall to find materials to craft legs and feet out of. You do make a good point. Should we do something about that? She'll show up at home sooner or later. With legs, maybe. Either way, I would be remiss if I did not bring up my other lovely sponsors for today, the wonderful people over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rory's Brainworks, just like this YouTube channel. They are my rope vanguard, my colonizers of dreams. And without them, these ropey endeavors would be way harder to accomplish. Thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this madness, and comment down below what kind of rope bondage things you would like us to teach you. As always, I'm Rory. This is our brain. I'm fairly certain it works. Be safe and go create some art.